Fuck! Hey, babe, we're gonna have to sell the house. Yeah, it's all gone to shit. I don't know what I'm gonna do now, babe. I mean, yeah, Lego was my backup idea, but like, I don't think that's reliable anymore.
I'm going to make this short and sweet, and I'm going to say it loud for the people in the back. No matter what they say today, nothing that you did caused your child to have autism, and they didn't figure it all out in just a couple of weeks. That's not how legitimate scientific research works.
Here's a long but non-exhaustive list of all the people who I'm simply not listening to their thoughts, feelings, opinions, or advice when it comes to my gender transition. So, number 1, anyone who identified as conservative for any period of their life, ever. I respect y'all if you have recovered. I just don't trust that you've really unpacked all of that quite yet. Number 2, anyone with their AGAP or their Harry Potter house in their bio. What the fuck are you doing? Number 3, trans meds. That one's self-explanatory. I'm not giving up my drip because you view maleness as some sort of elite social club that only you deserve access to because what? You dress like a middle school boy and I don't? I don't think so. Number 4, people who use they, them as a default for every person they meet. Number 5, gender abolitionists, specifically the people who think because society created gender roles that therefore dysphoria is all in my head and I don't need surgery. Go fuck yourself. Number 6, business majors. Number 7, my father. Go fuck yourself. Number 8, if the place where you spend the most time on the internet is Reddit, no thank you. Number 9, anyone younger than me, and I'm talking down to the minute. And 10, last but certainly not least, any trans person who has ever talked negatively about another trans person's genitals. I am so serious, trans men and trans masks, I am talking to y'all. If I have to hear another one of you come into my comment section to talk about how you really want to go on testosterone, but bottom growth is just so scary and icky, I am going to become evil, than I already am. And that includes pre-op and post-op, bitch. I do not care that bottom surgery gives you the ick. Those are life-saving procedures, and you simply need to get woker.
RFK Jr. just said Tylenol and pregnancy can cause increased autism risk? No way, he's literally a quack. Oh, so you don't trust Harvard? This has nothing to do with Harvard. No, this actually has everything to do with Harvard, considering it was from 46 studies that they did conduct. They found that prenatal Tylenol can increase neurodevelopmental issues, including autism. 50% of pregnant women worldwide use Tylenol. Harvard says to limit it. Parents deserve to know the risk.
Fucking fuck niggas. We about to fact check this shit. First, if you fuck with me, check out that podcast. Let's get it. What the hell is she talking about? I can tell you did not read that Harvard study. Literally begins with the evaluation of evidence, which means they didn't do 46 studies, they analyzed 46 studies. Meaning the study that you're bringing up didn't do the actual science to see if Tylenol is linked to autism. I would also like to add that they looked at 46 studies that had different types of methods, so the outcome of this study wouldn't be consistent, which is why in their conclusion they recommend a low dosage of Tylenol because they can't conclude that Tylenol has a complete linkage to autism. And again, you would have known that if you read the research paper.
Who would have thought the girl who left the danger in Ukraine would get her life taken riding on a train by a nigga when she's rapping Black Lives Matter? But you triggered by this song, tell me what you said. Tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high and sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town.
That was a clip of Forgiato Blow, self-proclaimed MAGA rapper, and JJ Lawhorn calling for people to be hung at sundown, which pretty clearly invokes sundown towns, all-white municipalities that were notorious for lynching non-white people, especially black people. The fact that this person is the face of so-called MAGA rap is painfully ironic because you do realize you are utilizing a black art form as the vehicle for your anti-blackness, right? I mean, it just continually astounds me that they can't even be innovative in the ways that they convey their hate. They are still pillaging and stealing and appropriating even as they condemn us. And my question is, if we're so inferior, then why do y'all keep stealing our shit? They're singing the quiet part out loud. When they say make America great again, they mean make white supremacy the status quo again. Make second-class citizenship for black and brown people the norm again. Make going to lynchings with your kids cool again. This is a modern-day KKK anthem and a clear incitement to terrorize black and brown communities. When I was getting my master's degree in Black Studies, we often spoke about the progress narrative, which is this idea that things used to be so bad in the past and they're so much better now and they're not perfect, but we're moving steadily in the right direction. And often the conversation was debunking this, that so much of the harm done in the past has just been rebranded in the contemporary moment. This same song that was published in 2025 could have very well been published in the Jim Crow South. So how much progress have we really made? I'll let you answer that.
The number one cause of autism isn't paracetamol, it's dads who care too much about World War I.
You think paracetamol's bad? Just wait until you see what guns can do.
Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times.
You guys cannot be this fucking stupid. Holy shit. This guy could tell you he shits gold and you would believe. Correlation does not equal causation. Is that like hard to understand? Some of you guys would look at this graph and then shit your pants. If you guys actually knew how to read and read any of these studies, you know that a mass majority of them would say that we don't have enough concrete data for a conclusive answer. How does a party that continuously makes conspiracy theories about the government fucking them believe everything this man says no matter what?
The flyer for a queer event says that only women and non-binary people are allowed. I go, like, my alarm bells go off. Because what are you actually saying? Are you just saying that you don't want anyone with a wiener in their pants at your party? Are you saying you're gonna act weird when the T-girls pull up? How about my non-binary friends who could pass as dudes? I'm suspicious.
The planet isn't warming.
The planet's warmed by 1.4 degrees since 1850.
Yeah, but that's caused by the sun.
If that was the case, the upper atmosphere would be warming. It would look like this. But what we're seeing is this. The upper atmosphere is cooling because all the heat's getting trapped in the lower atmosphere, because there's more CO2 in the atmosphere.
Yeah, but CO2 levels have been higher in the past.
Much higher, but it's the speed of change that's the problem. Natural world can't adapt.
The CO2's natural, like from volcanoes.
The ratio of carbon isotopes in the atmosphere has changed significantly this century. It tells us that the new carbon being added is really old, like fossil fuel old. It's not new natural carbon.
Yeah, but it's not going to be a problem.
Tell that to the 3.6 billion people who are at high risk of extreme temperatures, drought, flooding, heat waves, crop failures, water scarcity, or the 250,000 extra people who will die every year.
Yeah, but it's too late.
It's not an all or nothing situation. And every tenth of a degree of warming that we avoid is a tenth of a degree of damage that we avoid, which we can do with solutions available to us right now.
But solutions are just too expensive.
Not doing anything would cost a lot more, like over $1.2 quadrillion more.
Yeah, but we're not doing anything?
Yes, we are. I made a whole video about it.
Oh, I guess I was misinformed when I said...
You say I can make you feel good,
Whenever someone tells you their family had to flee so-and-so communist country because they felt like their lives were in danger, I want you to ask them what their family did and why specifically they had to leave the country. You know that comedian who did that one bit with that white South African and he was like, oh, why'd your family leave South Africa during apartheid? And he didn't want to say what his family did.
Why did your family move from South Africa?
I think my parents were moving it, and it was a white South African, and he happened to leave South Africa in the 90s around when they were persecuting people who supported apartheid.
Oh, by the way, if you can't see in the room, Keegan's white. He's like, you put black people in townships for 30 years.
I want you to know that's a huge portion of people who had to flee communist countries because their family was being persecuted or some shit. I swear you force Cubans to slave away on sugar plantations and subjugate their island to massive neocolonialist practices, and all of a sudden you're persona non grata. Ask them about their family and why they had to flee specifically, and ask them what their grandparents did. You're gonna learn some interesting information.
Your dad's bad.
So you hate the news, but you don't want to look like a thicky dum-dum in front of all your mates. Then I've got you covered. Here's what's been happening over the last few days. Tens of thousands of people attended a memorial service for pro-gun conservative activist Charlie Kirk, where they definitely didn't salute. Charlie Kirk's pro-gun wife, Erica, delivered a speech in which she said she forgave her pro-gun husband's pro-gun gun pro killer.
The answer to hate is not hate.
A noble message that was immediately steamrolled over by Donald Trump.
That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica.
That's right, Donald. Undermine the widow in front of an entire stadium filled with people. Keep it tasteful. Trump also continued to baselessly cast Kirk's killer as a radical leftist in order to drive a wedge between Americans.
I have family members that support leftists and have decided not to talk to me.
Sure, mate. I'm sure it's your leftist relatives that are the problem there. Over in the UK, Nigel Farage delivered another speech on immigration, this time saying that Reform UK weren't just coming for illegal migrants, but legal migrants too.
We will abolish indefinite leave to remain as a category in this country.
According to Farage, getting rid of indefinite leave to remain, which is seen as the first stage of achieving British citizenship, would save the UK taxpayer £234 billion. A figure that the think tank which created the number said was unreliable and probably a load of old horse shite. The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer officially recognised the state of Palestine.
The United Kingdom formally recognises the state of Palestine.
A position the UK government has been dragged kicking and screaming towards thanks to the brave actions of Grandma. And a position that of course coexists with the fact that the UK continues to provide Israel with the materials to do this. Finally, Rupert Murdoch is expected to be part of the group of investors trying to buy TikTok in the US, so you best get used to every third video you come across being filled with boobies.
First, your phone listened to you, and they said, well, if you got nothing to hide, who cares if the phone listens to you? And now the phone listens all the time, even when you're not on the phone. And they say, hey, well, if you're not doing anything bad, who cares, right? And then soon you'll go into 7-Eleven and it'll scan your brain for negative thoughts. And I go, well, if you're not having negative thoughts, who cares, right? And then soon it'll be you go to the airport and then little robots go up inside of you and shut down your organs. And I go, well, if you're not trying to assault anybody, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing a talk.
Let's get a photo. I like your outfit. You look like a Swedish DJ.
I'm Swedish.
You're Swedish? No way. Axwell and Ingrosso, everybody.
You should never call somebody a fascist unless you know precisely what that word means. I do know precisely what that word means. So when people come at me for calling other people fascists, they usually come unprepared. So when is it appropriate to call someone a fascist? Great question. And the answer is when they exhibit worldviews and perspectives that are aligned with historical fascist movements. Before we go any further, it's probably helpful to define fascism, which is something that nobody in these conversations ever seems to do, which is why they get so emotionally heated. Fascism is a form of palingenetic ultra-nationalism. Now that word palingenetic comes from palingenesis, the idea of a national rebirth. Fascism is obsessed with a cult of national purity and an idea of a mythic golden past that must be returned to through a form of national rebirth. The nation, which is imagined to be humiliated and threatened on the international stage, must be reborn through a broad-based revolutionary nationalist movement that defines itself against the backdrop of political gridlock and rejects both liberal reformism and leftist class struggle. Are you tracking with me so far? Fascism is a style of politics, not a form of government. It is a process, not an end result. While fascism tends to end with jackbooted thugs in the night and boxcars to Dachau or slit trenches in Treblinka, it usually starts as a protest movement inside a broader conservative coalition. A conservative commenter recently replied to one of my posts and said, in I think a way that was tongue-in-cheek, "Do you think every conservative is a fascist? Could you point to any conservatives who are not fascists, or is that a label that you apply to all of them?" And the answer is yes. Throughout history, there have been thousands of conservatives who are not fascists. There are many notable conservatives who stood up against fascism vocally and strongly. Figures like Dietrich Bonhoeffer in Germany or Winston Churchill in the UK. The problem is that conservatives have a weakness. They are more afraid of the left and its radicalization than they are of the right. Fascists exploit this weakness in order to form an alliance with traditional conservatives, which they then hollow out from the inside. Afraid of the left, conservatives form an uneasy partnership with fascists, thinking that they can control them. The result is always the opposite, which means that most conservatives only end up becoming anti-fascists once they realize that it's already too late. I think that if ICE started rounding up queer people into concentration camps, you would see a lot of conservatives in the United States hiding queer people beneath their floorboards. But what those conservatives probably would not like to admit is that they were so afraid of phantom threats like wokeness or leftist radicalism or cultural Marxism, which, by the way, is literally a Nazi dog whistle invented by Joseph Goebbels, than they are of rising radicalism and violence on the right. Conservatives have a tendency to support and even vote for fascists out of fear from the left, and then turn around and claim that they had nothing to do with the rise of fascism in their countries. And this is because they don't realize that fascism is a process of radicalization rather than an end state. It is about the consolidation of a cult of unity and national purity through coercion, mass mobilization, and militarism. This is why when conservatives echo the Great Replacement theory, talk about immigrants as invaders, and obsess over internal enemies who are corrupting the purity of the nation, they don't often realize that they are explicitly echoing fascist talking points. And when they are, it's your responsibility to call them a fascist. I hope that clears it up for you.
Your brain still works if your eyes and ears don't. It still works. You can still think and learn shit. I know if I brought you a cup of water and you couldn't hear or see it, you drank the water, and then I took your hand and did this with it, and then had to drink more water, and then did that with it over and over again, do you think you'd be able to understand that what you just drank was that? If you wanted more, you think you'd be able to do that? I think you fucking could. I think you could. It's not that hard. They learn, they communicate, they can do it. You don't have to have eyes and ears to use your brain. You can still use your brain. It's not that hard to understand. People are alive today that do it. There are people who are alive right now who cannot see and cannot hear and yet are still in college, write books, have careers, have friends and families and interests, and can fucking communicate and converse. It's not that hard to understand. Why wouldn't she have been a real person? All gonna make me lose my ever-loving shit. She was real. She was real. She did all of the things. People do those things still right today.
So we all know Jimmy Kimmel's show has been cancelled. A Dutch comedian has made this video. Watch.
Our nation is changing. In order to ensure the continued provision of high-quality works to our audience, the Walt Disney Company acknowledges the necessity of adapting our content.
We bring you a whole new Disney. There are new stories to be told. Oh, Belle, you're so hot. If you weren't my daughter, I'd probably be dating you. I can show you the world. New songs to be sung. Timeless classics. Lock her up! Okay, now I'm gonna grab you by the pussy. Where is your pussy? Because not every voice needs to be heard.
Bambi, trans women are women. Olaf, you are made out of snow, right?
Yes.
So that means climate change isn't real.
Making our company great again. suck Donald Trump's dick. The new Disney. It's a small world after all.
To Valhalla, brother! Like, the only group of men he's bringing together are Jews with unwashed assholes, men that use 4-in-1 Axe body wash, and fucking men that can't find the clit. So, like, what do you... We know, we get it. You're inadequate in every way, but, like, who is scared of this? Ew. Shut up.
Posted a video asking, what are we doing to prepare our homes as Christians for the people who are left behind. I did these, and I laminated them, and then I did scriptures that, like, I don't know, kind of elaborate a little bit about what Christianity is and how important it is, and then I did a letter to people, and I'm going to leave it.
So you've probably seen a lot of those videos. I hadn't seen any of these Rapture Talk videos until my friend sent me a video, and now it's all over my For You page. And I'm not trying to be a bitch, but y'all are fucking crazy. That right there, or anyone who talks like that, is dealing with intense religious psychosis. And this is coming from someone who grew up very evangelical Christian. As I've stated previously, I'm no longer Christian, but I obviously remember everything that was told to me back then. I have heard this said so many times, that the end times are coming soon. I don't have a lot to add to this conversation, but I will say, from what I remember about learning in church, and what I learned in my Bible classes at church and at school, because yes, I went to a private Christian high school. It was hell. Ironically. Anyways, from what I learned, we're not supposed to know when Jesus comes back. In fact, we're not supposed to expect it at all. We're not supposed to be like fucking doomsday preppers preparing for Jesus to come back or pushing the world in that way so that Jesus can come back sooner. You're not God. You can't dictate when Jesus comes back or how fast he comes back. You can't just put him on 2x speed and expect him to come back on Tuesday, September 23, which is when everyone is saying it's gonna happen. I even whipped out the Bible for this to fact check you bitches. Okay, Matthew 24:36. But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Say it with me. Only the Father. Not even Jesus knows when he's coming back. You think you know more than Jesus? Get help. Get serious help. I'm not talking about church. I'm not talking about prayer. I mean like a psych ward or something.
Here we go. Count 1, guilty. Count 2, guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, guilty.